Hey guys, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Secret Society of Superfans podcast. That is a mouthful. I'm your host, Sarah Talks, and today we're deep diving into the thrilling happenings of season 47, episode 9 of Survivor, titled Nightmare Fuel. Now, before we just get going, I just want to thank everyone for your patience. We've had crazy busy schedules, the so fun election slump of it all, and let's not forget we all just need to take breaks for our mental health sometimes, but we are back. And sometimes you just have to hit that pause button, take a step back, but here we are and we are recharged. And with that, let's get ready to have some fun and entertaining discussions about this week's very amazing episode of Survivor. And joining me on this adventure today is the fabulous reality Allie. Let's jump in. Allie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Sarah?
So good. I watched this episode and I was like, if we don't record about this, I'm going to lose it because probably my favorite episode to date. It was so fun, and it says a lot when I'm not fast forwarding through the competitions. So
it was a very good episode all around for multiple reasons.
From the jump. And so I just want to jump into it because from the jump, what we saw at the end of episode 8 is we saw Rachel play her shot in the dark and just scanning everyone at Tribal. And we're like, what is she doing? What is happening? Well, we had suspicions, and we got confirmation right off the jump of the episode that she played her shot in the dark to watch people's reaction to see if she needed to play her idol that she got in the tarp. And I think that's genius. That's brilliant.
Yep.
I don't know that I've ever seen, I'm sure it's been done before, but I don't think I've seen that in my, in the new era.
I don't know about the new era, but I do know that I had some comments about, yes, that it has been done before, because I wasn't even sure if people could use more than one reward or idol or whatever at the same time. And Jeff did confirm that it is possible on a podcast after the episode aired. And I had been told in my comment section that it had happened before. So it must have happened on one of the seasons I didn't watch. But
right. Well, there's been, a lot, 47 to be exact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't know. I was like, wait, what is happening? I mean, because if I were her, I would have been freaked out and a little spooked too, because of the shift in energies and how everything went with the last Tribal. So way to go. Rachel just continues to impress me over and over again. I'm so glad that Saul saved her and used that advantage and caused the chaos that he did the last time. It's just seeing her story play out is getting more and more exciting.
Yes, I'm very excited for Rachel. I fear that we're getting one of those, oh my gosh, you made a really good move and we have to edit this in, but maybe you're not going very far edit. The way that we see some other players getting an edit of long term, you're making it. If you're not making it to finale, you're making it dang near close. Teeny, for example, I really believe that if she's not making it to finale, she is going very, very far. Rachel, because we're just now seeing stuff about her, it worries me that we're getting a whole lot all at once.
Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely see that. I don't think that she's getting a winner edit per se, but I'm just glad. It's kind of like how we felt about Genevieve, where from the start of the season, and now we're like, oh my God, look at her cooking. Yeah. So it's exciting to see these. I love the way Survivor is edited. I love the way that they play out these people's stories. I know it can get predictable and it can kind of give us indicators of who's making it, who's not. But I feel like they do a really good job of really letting us get to know each and every person when it's their time to shine.
Yes, I would agree with that. I love the new era edits a lot.
Yeah.
They are predictable though, and I've heard that complaint from other people. They are very predictable, but I kind of like predictable because I like to be able to figure out what's going on, because it's not like Big Brother where we have live feeds to watch and we know. So having a predictable edit is comforting to me.
It is. It has that comfort level to it. But it also it kind of gives you clues. So we're kind of like figuring it out. So yeah, we're watching for entertainment, but at the same time, we're over analyzing the shit out of every single confessional and putting on our detective hats, and then, you know, using these clues that we feel like production's giving us to make our predictions.
Yeah, agree.
I want to talk about Andy. After we're showing them going back to camp, and we definitely, Sam and Rachel were definitely blindsided with Sierra's with Sarah being voted out. And this is not the first time that Rachel's been blindsided. And this is not the first time that it was because of Andy. So I think that Andy did an okay job post tribal with trying to like mend his fences with Sam and work on his relationship with Rachel. It's just, how are we feeling overall?
Andy's not winning. He's not winning. I have decided that a couple weeks back. I felt pretty good about him initially, and I do still feel good that he's a strong player, but I do think in the coming weeks, Andy and Kyle both are going to start being in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I feel he's a bit messy. He always has been. He was messy from the jump. I said in my live for Survivor Night, I feel like especially when you're at the jury stage, you need to be very mindful, very demure of your face.
Yeah.
During tribal. And these are people whose dreams just got crushed. So sitting there with a shit-eating grin and trying to make yourself have this villainous grin at tribal because you just got away with some big move, I feel like is not a good look, not just to us, the viewers, not just to the person that's leaving, but to the jurors.
I agree. I feel concerned about not just him, but several others' jury management skills this season. Yes. We're lacking on the jury management area for a lot of the players that we have in this final 9. So
it's interesting because I just watched this documentary called The Dark Side of Reality Television, and they covered season 1 and of Survivor. Ooh. The episode is about season 1 of Survivor. Not just the season itself, but then the aftermath and stuff like that. But it was very interesting when they get to the jury part, and there's an argument to be made that Rich didn't so much win as oh my God, what's her name? The runner up. Kelly
Wigglesworth or something.
Yes. Yes.
Kelly Wigglesworth?
Yes, Wigglesworth, because it's not Kelly Wentworth, but it's a Kelly.
Okay, so it is Kelly Wigglesworth. I knew Wigglesworth was the last name. Okay.
Yes. Because I remember thinking like, oh, that's interesting. 2 Kelly W's with interesting W Worths names. Anyway, but as so much as she lost it, there were a lot of jurors that, you know, saw Richard as a snake, but her as a rat. And there was that infamous speech and everything. So it was interesting to me. Like, this has always kind of been the case since day 1 of Survivor. And like, to your point, the jury management is just not there.
No,
so
there's no jury management. And I have been concerned about this. Even from the beginning of the season, I could just tell that a lot of these people were not concerned about the jury. They just weren't. I could tell that this is the position that we were going to be in. And I was right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we'll talk about it later in the episode when we get to tribal. Like, Sierra shows up and your girl does not look happy. Like, she's pissed.
And Survivor is very different in that the jury is involved in the game, continuing through to the end of the game. There are a few other reality shows that I've seen this. Like, for example, we both watch House of Villains, and they kind of do this a little bit on season 1, right? They bring them back, but it's very temporary. It's not. But on Survivor, every week you're seeing the jury's faces, and that is a wonderful moment to put on a show. And we saw that in the old era. We saw people put on a show.
Yeah.
But we're not seeing that yet. And
we just saw it with, was it last season or season before? But with, Tevin, and they were, that was a whole other tribal situation going on there. Every single tribal council, they were over there like snickering, making comments, making remarks and everything. And it was a whole sideshow. And I feel like we're going to get a lot of that energy this season too.
And something else that I think is different and that I wish would stop, and I know we've talked about this before, Jeff Probst. I love Jeff, really do. I love the hard work you put into Survivor. Please do not get this twisted. But I really need you to be quiet sometimes. And like,
my God, it's a whole segment, Allie. I have a whole, we'll jump straight to it, but yes, perfect. Go ahead.
We can jump into it if you want. But like,
let's jump into it. Let's talk about Jeff and running his damn mouth.
Yes, and not just on this last episode, where we're at in episode 9 or something.
9. Mm-hmm.
Not just on episode 9, but the last several episodes, progressively, Jeff is getting worse as far as what he's doing. Now, I wasn't really that upset with him, like, letting Rome sit in his seat. That was kind of for fun or whatever, and in my opinion, that was Rome's fault for talking so much. Mm-hmm. But Jeff, so that move particularly I'm not talking about, but a lot of the stuff that Jeff says really should just not be said. I think some of it should just be an inside.
It's interference. In my mind, it is interference. First of all, this episode, we get down to, there's this really cool competition with multiple layers and multiple rounds, right? And we're at the very end, and Jeff's over there doing commentary and running his mouth, right? And he is saying, the interesting thing about this competition is that you can't see how your competitors are doing. You can't see who is struggling. Mm-hmm. 5 seconds later, Soul really struggling here. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to make it. That, that little ledge is there. I was like, what? You're defeating the whole, you just said, Jeff, you just said. Oh my God. And then this episode at Tribal Council, and he's done this multiple times this season, recent seasons, but it's just getting progressively worse. Him calling out the side chats. Okay,
that's where I draw the line. That's what I was going to say just now. I think we've come okay, look, I like him commenting during the games. I think that that's fun, and it adds a little bit for us as the viewers to be like, oh, Soul's struggling. Like, and I don't think that interferes quite so much. The only thing that really interferes with is if somebody's not looking over and seeing Soul struggling. Now they know that Soul is struggling. But specifically the stuff that he's calling out in the tribal councils, like this last episode 9, he did entirely too much. Let them talk, and if you can see that out of your peripheral, let it be. You need to continue on asking your questions, and you need to move on. I do not want you to be commenting on what's going on. Like, and he didn't just do it once. It was, oh, now these two people are talking. Now these people are talking. Like, stop. Just stop. Because
I get how exciting a vote change mid-tribal council could be. I really, really, really do. But the big brother purist in me and knows like the social experiment of this at all doesn't want it tainted. I stand firm in my agreement that figure your shit out before you come to tribal. When you walk into tribal, you're going to give your vote. Then you're going to come sit around the campfire and we're going to just all talk. Because at that point, nothing Jeff says, nothing that happens can change anything. Other than like maybe you get a vibe like you want to play an idol or so. I don't know. Well, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think Jeff should be opening his mouth at all until votes are locked in.
I feel as though Jeff wants to force some kind of flip sometimes. And
yes,
it feels intentional. It doesn't feel like he's just genuinely wanting to conduct interviews. It feels like he's wanting to interfere with the game. Unlike Julie Chen, right? Who is supposed to not say shit.
Yes, especially once you get to jury. And there's the thing here, and where I kind of stand firm in this camp is that it does seem like interference. It does seem like he's influencing the game. But just as any Survivor fan now can spot the edits, spot who's going home this week, spot who the winners are, who's going to last, who's going to flame out early, I feel like we are moving into an era where you can clock if you were in trouble by the way Jeff is speaking to you at tribal.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's not.
No, it's not okay.
It's not okay.
But I just want to emphasize, I do really like Jeff, and I do appreciate the hard work that he puts into Survivor, because if we want to compare Jeff versus Julie Chen, Jeff is way up here, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he has I think he has production credits. I mean, he plays an actual role in the game. And I think that is why he is so much more invested than Julie Chen is, who Julie Chen is literally just the face of the show. Whereas Jeff is a part of the show. And I do understand that he probably feels more invested, but you got to back off. Somebody here says that they really appreciate when he comments on how far a player has come. And I would agree that I do like that, but only during certain periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
What was her name on season 45?
Oh, shit.
What was her name? You know who I'm talking about. The one that right off the bat, nobody liked her. She came
Emily.
Emily, yes. So I liked when he was like, Emily, she's come a long way. I don't think that interfered necessarily with the game, because it was something everybody knew, right? But if it's something that not everybody knows or not everybody might be thinking about, you got to keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, no, it's pissing me off more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, jumping back, we were talking about how Andy, I feel did pretty okay.
You did okay.
Damage control wise. And then we move into this comp that we were just talking about, this rounds comp. This was exciting to me. It wasn't an obstacle course ending in a puzzle all the way, the beams, that I like the stair aspect of it. I liked all the elements involved in it. They all seemed new and refreshing. I was so excited though to see Gabe and Kyle struggling and then making this big comeback over the beam, and Sue and Genevieve just fucking crushing it, so it was all very, very exciting to watch at every stage. The hanging though, let's talk about where they have to stair step down and they're holding it. Can we quit zooming into these fuckers' feet?
Thank you so much. I was just about to say that on my live. If you were on my live, you would know that I could not get over that. I am so tired of seeing dirty feet. This is a competition that they historically have done in different ways throughout the years. And every single time they do it, they zoom in on their dogs. And I don't like feet anyways. And I especially don't want to see.
We already know that their feet are going to look ratchet. They've been living on a fucking island and they're using their feet for sand we know it's going to be bad. But why are we zooming in? Second, I just want to say this, that if it were me, I'm sorry, I'm now a famous Survivor contestant. Those feet are money makers. Do not zoom in and give the goods for free. Okay?
No, you gotta pay for this. You got to pay for these dogs.
All I know.
Is if you're going to do a competition like that, it is not necessary for us to see their feet consistently.
No.
Now, I could understand showing a quick edit of someone's foot slipping or whatever, but they were for no reason zooming in on feet. No,
I could see ingrown toenails. It's too much, CBS.
We're gonna have to edit that out. I'm gonna throw up. So gross. This is my cry to help right now to CBS. This is my call to action. CBS, stop it.
Stop the feet.
I agree with that. Lucas also says he doesn't want to see their teeth when they eat. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to see when they're scraping their teeth with the sugar cane. I don't want to see that either.
My husband is very fascinated with how white Genevieve's teeth are still. And I'm I'm sure they have tips and tricks on. I can't get more than 15 minutes out of bed without brushing my teeth. That would be one of the hardest parts of Survivor to me. Is having feeling the sweaters on my teeth all day.
And some people just genuinely have whiter teeth than others. Some people's teeth are just more yellow than others. So it could just be that she has uber white teeth going into this. But yeah.
Or really good veneers. I don't know.
Or she could have veneers. I haven't really paid that much attention. Usually you can tell if it's veneers though. I don't know.
But it's impressive. Okay, so then we see Gabe and Kyle, they make this really great comeback. The winning structure, do you remember kind of how it was? I forgot to make the notes because it was a little bit confusing and complicating. But like Sue won immunity because she was the last standing woman.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Gabe won immunity from the guys. It came down to him and Kyle.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and let's talk about the fact that I'm convinced that Gabe would have actually been in trouble. I think Gabe.
1,000%. I think Gabe would have gone home had he not won immunity.
I believe so. Yeah, I think that immunity was the only thing that saved him.
But then they got a reward. They got like club sandwiches and stuff, BLTs. And that was very interesting. So on the reward, we had Teeny, Saul, Gabe, Kyle. They're all talking about going after Sam. There was hardly any discussion. Hardly any discussion shown at all. They're like, cool, it's Sam. We'll get back to camp. We'll let everybody know. And then Saul opens his mouth immediately as they come back. And they're like, hey, we all decided it's Sam. It's Sam. And then like, I remember Teeny being like, what was it? It was Teeny. She was like, we were going to like break this to him slowly. We were going to kind of have these discussions, but Saul just like put it out there. But what we saw was Genevieve approaching Sue while they were all at the reward, talking about her wanting to get out Saul.
Yes.
My concerns from this conversation here. I've been saying this since the beginning. I really wanted to like Sue. She's not giving, she's frustrating the hell out of me every episode.
I don't like Sue.
This grudge that she has against Kyle from the first time they went to tribal because he put her name down.
When Sue,
it's gonna get you in trouble, girl.
When Sue lost all of her logic and lied about her age in a way that actually made no sense to me, I get it. You might look young, but I can tell the difference in you look young and you've had Botox and other work done. Yes, she's physically fit, and yes, whatever, but what did she say? She was like 45 or something, and I was like,
she's saying she's 40. Sorry,
maybe 50.
She's 45.
It's kind of like when Mama Fee said the same thing, and everyone immediately, like even Mama Fee didn't keep going with it. Like she knew it was a terrible lie. Also, Sue.
How old did Bowie Jane say she was?
Oh, okay. So Bowie Jane said that she was 30, 35.
Yeah, that's a hard 30 girl.
45. But the thing is Bowie Jane did have like Botox and stuff. And so her face looked young. I remember Jared saying her face looks young, but her neck looks old. And the neck really is, if your neck looks old, there ain't nothing we can do. But we said that Sue had immunity, and actually that's a lie because Sue had votes at tribal.
Oh, yeah. But so what did she get? What reward? Because she was the last woman standing. They were all congratulating her at the end.
I don't know. But Lucas just said that, and I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Maybe she lost her vote in the beginning of the comp and won it back.
I don't know.
I just rewatched it. They're all congratulating her like she won immunity, like her and Gabe won it.
Well, yeah, it just wouldn't make sense because they would all have known that she had immunity, right? Unless she had to play it. Did she have to play it still?
Why didn't I catch that? We'll have to go back and watch.
She didn't have votes because I remember it being between Sue.
She had a one vote, yeah.
So yeah. Anyways, but where were we at? Oh, so yes, I think that I don't like Sue that much because I didn't like her illogical lying. I also, when she lied about the paint, I was like, wasn't even a good lie. Like, no. I don't know. I just don't like her that much. And I feel bad saying that because, like, girl power and, like, she's an older player. I love an older player, but I don't like Sue.
I wanted to like her so much, but my issue that I'm having with her is that she seems to hyperfixate on really irrelevant stuff. Like, you do not need to work this hard to hide your age. You do not need to work this hard to hide that you have an idol. And you do not need to work this hard on making an enemy out of Kyle because he said your name at the first tribal and hasn't really fucking said your name since. Like, she just gets these like tunnel, like, I don't know what it is, but it's a very much a tunnel vision mentality.
Wasn't she also a part of the whole sleeping on the beach situation when Rome was talking? And wasn't she a part of that as well? She was one of the people that was upset because she was trying to nap in broad daylight on the beach and Rome came over and was talking. Was she a part of that too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, okay.
She's
but
like the island Karen.
Yes. Like, okay, maybe you should announce that you're sleeping. Like, maybe you should say, hey, we're going over here. If you could, like, I don't know. Because Rome, to me, I liked him a little bit, but I definitely think his whole
Kyle came up to her and tried to talk to her about Gabe, and like he's trying to like give an olive branch here and work with you, but not only did you shut him down, but you shut him down in a very public, rude way, which is not smart gameplay. Like,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's. I really, really was rooting for her. I was really excited for her. But so Genevieve's talking to her and convinces her that like Soul wants Gabe out. So we need to get Soul out. Okay. Genevieve gets these ideas in her head and she gets to masterminding and puppet mastering, and she's gotten to work. So then when the reward troop comes back and they're like, hey, we're going to do Sam, Genevieve immediately gets to work and like tries to like back that out. Mm-hmm. My question for you is who benefits the most from Soul leaving? Is this really the best move for Genevieve? Does this make the most sense for her?
No, I don't know why we chose Soul. I really do not. And again, we've talked about the differences in Big Brother versus Survivor, and I do understand how quick these decisions have to be made. And you could actually, I did like on this edit that we got on episode 9, you could see how quick this decision was being made and how people were even talking about, well, we don't have much time. So it was very obvious on this episode that people were talking very quickly. But I still, even with it being so quick, I do not and cannot even still understand why that went to Soul. I really didn't get that. And actually going into Tribal, I was still thinking that there was a shot for it to, in my head, I'm like, they're editing it this way. So we think it's Soul, and then we're going to go into Tribal and it's going to be Kyle. In my head, I was like, it might be Kyle.
Kyle makes sense to me for anybody's game just because he's a winning player. However, I do like the thing, and the reason Kyle was my winner pick is I do see him as a strong competitor, but I don't see him as a strong social player, which in a way benefits him because I feel like everyone can see where you stand. Like you with Kyle, you know where you stand. I think what's benefiting Kyle is, he's winning a lot, but if he's going after me, I'm going to know about it because he probably would just flat out tell me, and he'd tell me in the nicest way possible that it's humanly possible. He'd probably be a really sweet guy about it. Whereas Soul's working a lot behind the scenes. He's done, he's been a little bit more sneaky and strategic. So I do see you wanting to like, there was the strategy a lot, like the only strategy that was explained with this by Genevieve was that Sam and Kyle are going to continue to duke it out between the two of them. Let's get Saul out right now while he's not expecting it, and let Sam and Kyle kind of duke out the next few weeks because that gives us some insulation for the next.
So who's working with Kyle?
Honestly, I think Kyle's really good with a lot of people on the island. I think everyone clocks him as a competition threat, but I feel like everyone's like, oh, he's one to watch. But in the meantime,
he's just going to be voting with the majority. He's just going to be voting with the majority. He doesn't really have a solid opinion on anything because he can win competitions and keep himself safe.
Yes. And I just think he's agreeable and he's easy to get along with. He's not one you have to worry about sneaking off to go find an idol or stabbing you in the back.
He didn't really care that much.
Yeah.
He's depending on winning competitions to carry himself to the end. So what about Caroline? Who is Caroline? Okay, why did Caroline make that move?
I think Caroline's loyalty is very strong with Gabe. Yes. I think that Caroline and Gabe, she's just going to kind of trust him and go with that kind of flow there. Mm-hmm. I think that she's starting to gain traction with Andy, And we know that she's very close with Sue. Sue is her number one. So if Sue says it's Saul, it's Saul. Like there's no questioning there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Caroline might be a little bit of an underrated player at the moment. I could see her sneaking herself through, but we'll have to see.
I'm really liking her. I'm really liking Rachel. I'm really now Sam clocked it. Sam clocked this for me because I was trying to pull out my like feelings about Sue and just kind of like how she bothers me. But Sam hit the nail on the head when he said, Sue, no one is saying her name. Everyone feels good with Sue. Everyone loves Sue. And everyone has these close, like, duos with, and Sue is a part of all these different duos. If we pull Sue out, it frees up a bunch, like it just frees up, and it causes a level of chaos that kind of can reshift alliances everywhere. And I feel like Sue would have been a very brilliant play here had they been able to pull it off.
And as a home viewer, in my personal opinion, I think that there are bigger male threats that they need to target first. However, the first female that they need to be targeting moving forward is Sue, because Sue is coming out at the top. Like we just talked about how she was the last female standing as far as competitions go. And I don't think that the other females are as much. The men can beat the other females in competitions and make sure that they're safe. But they can't Sue's giving them a run for their money.
Yeah. And she's not getting tired. It's not wearing on her.
She's not getting her 60 whatever year old. How old is she actually? 60? 65?
60.
Yeah.
Something.
She's not getting 60-year-old tired. You know?
Not 45.
Not 45. We know that. But yeah, so I do think that they need to really consider Kyle, and at this point, probably Andy as well, before going after Sue. If I was any other person, I would be wanting to look at Kyle and Andy. But Sue is a really close third and a backup option moving forward, in my sole opinion.
If I were on the island and I being very genuine here, I would I'm pulling myself out of like Kyle's my winner pick and he's the one I feel like I would keep Kyle at this point in the game. I would make sure I'm good with him. I would try to get a numbers system with him involved, so that while he is winning these immunities, he's winning it for like our alliance. Someone really needs to be capitalizing on that, because Kyle, again, social threats are the ones that I would probably be watching for. The Sue, Andy, the wild card of it all, because if you do think that you have it good with Andy, you probably don't.
Andy makes me very nervous.
If I was so nervous.
Andy makes me too nervous. Also, drafts. My draft is dead. I think I only have Teeny left.
You only have, I have an updated graphic for us, so we'll get to look at it all.
Talk about that.
But then we had a journey too. So on the journey was Rachel, Sam, Andy, and Caroline. We didn't know what kind of journey it was going to be. And I loved this one. This one was a really fun one where they all got to play a game. And it was basically like building a house of cards, like Jenga. It was like jungle Jenga. But they had like these tiles and they had to make these triangles and just stack these triangles up. And whoever toppled over the tower lost their vote. The other three people kept theirs. This was really fun to watch. I actually really liked Caroline's face during all of this. There was a moment where Rachel like got a really hard one and Caroline was like this. She's like, oh, that was epic. Like she was just like, she looked like us, like she was a viewer and she was just enjoying this game so much. It was really adorable.
And
but I loved this
difference in like a player like Caroline versus Teeny. They both love the show and are fanatics, but Teeny is going into it so she's wanting to really make sure she does her best, and she's being very stoic about a lot of things, whereas Caroline can't hide her excitement. No. Teeny is the paranoid. Like we talk about this all the time. This is why sometimes they don't cast people like us, because we end up like Teeny. We're paranoid. We're, of course,
or Andy.
Actually, we end up like Rome.
This is true.
But
very true.
But Teeny is a Rome, except she's able to keep her emotions concealed.
Yes. and not be evil just for the sake of being evil.
Yeah. But it pains me so much because I watch like the little like meetups and the clips from the meetups, and Rome seems so nice, and I'm just like, you know, in real life you are such a nice
genuinely guy. He was very, very nice.
Yeah.
It was very, very hard to watch the episodes after I had met
him. Yeah. But anyways, I do think that that's the difference, and it is refreshing to see players really enjoy. I always say this: I like watching people enjoy themselves. I hate, like Jeff, I hate people who self-evict or quit or go home, whatever it's called on various shows. I hate that because it's like, you know how many people wanted to be here, and now you want to vape so badly. You missed your vape so much that you had to leave. Like, you should have probably practiced not vaping for a couple weeks. So.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so did you have anything else for the rest of the show before we get into talking about the tribal?
Yes. So oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Something's in my eye. Okay. Do you think that Sam, so what we end up seeing is Rachel telling Sam that Saul's going and that the votes are with Saul, saying, do not blow up my spot. You cannot vote for him because that'll blow up the spot. I'm just looking out for you.
We saw immediately a lot of people snitching on each other before this tribal started. It was like everyone was scrambling and snitching on whatever they had heard. Nothing was going into
but this is what started that.
Yeah.
This is what started all of this chaos. Now, I don't think that Rachel did anything wrong by telling Sam. I think that the way she told him and the way she said, like, I'm trying to look out for you, and I don't want you to panic or do anything silly, but it's not you, it's Saul, right? I don't see the benefit for Sam blowing up Rachel's spot and immediately telling Saul within like 5 seconds. Saul was actually walking up to the tent as this conversation's happening, and he walks off and immediately tells him, which causes all this chaos. I don't see Saul as being that beneficial to Sam to do this.
No, I was genuinely confused by that because to me, I would consider Saul a threat to Sam.
Yes. Agreed.
So there's obviously something I feel that we might be missing in the edit because that was just a very strange and unusual move, in my opinion.
Yes, because then we see Saul go to Teeny and Teeny go to Genevieve. Now Genevieve knows the Saul knows.
Teeny was shook. Teeny was like,
shook.
What do you mean? I love Teeny's face. But Teeny was like, what do you no.
Yeah, this was a lot. So we see a bunch of names, and they kind of do this whole montage with all these names being thrown out. In my gut, and I actually said it in the group chat. I said, guys, this is all just noise. Here's the thing. Genevieve got the whole fucking island to agree on Saul. The second Teeny tells Genevieve that Saul knows and that it's Saul, like the second that Genevieve knows that Saul is like pushing all this on Sue, blah, blah, blah. Genevieve, I mean, I don't care what all this chaos, I don't care what came out of people's mouths or what clips. Genevieve immediately went out and said, just fucking ignore that. Keep to the plan. Keep to the plan. Everybody just keep to the fucking plan. And I saw through the smoke and mirrors. I didn't for a second think that the vote was going to be changed because of that. Because I was thinking in Genevieve's head, like, you just got everyone to agree to this. You're literally about to walk your asses down to tribal.
Yeah.
It's not going to take hard convincing to tell everybody, just stick to the plan. Just stick to the plan.
That was the voice of reasoning in that moment. So
yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah. It worked. So yeah, then we get to tribal where Jeff just ran his mouth the whole fucking time. Sierra comes in. She's looking fucking pissed. Gorgeous, but pissed.
Jeff's got to quit running his mouth. I mean, that's really my main takeaway from that tribal. Yes, it was chaotic. But Jeff, you got to stop. Respectfully.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
It was so chaotic. There was a lot of talk about like Sue, it's Sue, it's Soul, it's Sue, Soul, Sue. Like it was the whole thing, you know? And
the whispering, like
whispering was a lot.
If he wouldn't have done anything else, the only request I would have had was don't comment on the whispering. Or honestly, if he was going to comment on it, it could have been, it looks like you guys have a lot to talk about. I'm gonna sit here quietly and let you all fester it out.
Yes, that would have been
fine.
Yeah, I would have loved that actually. I would encourage.
We'll walk over here and I'll be back.
Now I know how the votes shook out from what Jeffrey. But do we have the final tally?
I don't remember. I didn't write it down.
Okay, because Jeff reads the votes and there's 5 for Saul and 1 for Sue. I don't know if Sue got any more votes after, besides the 1, which would have meant Teeny ended up. But I'm curious because Saul.
Do we know where Teeny ended up actually voting?
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I feel like she voted with, I don't know.
Did Sue continue to only have that 1 vote, which would have been Saul's vote? Or, but
I don't know.
Watched the after, and they didn't really show it.
I feel like Teeny was true enough to Saul that she would have wanted to not. She wouldn't want to risk being the swing vote.
Yeah.
I think she probably did. I'm going to have to look that up, but I feel like maybe she probably did vote for Sue, even if her vote wasn't read.
Well, so let's look at the draft because now
they're saying that Sol and Teeny voted for Sue.
Okay, so Sue ended up getting those 2 votes.
Yeah.
That was really sad to watch. Teeny losing and here's the thing, and people keep talking about Teeny's Twitter edit. Teeny has a lot of work to do because this is way too many blindsides and being left out of a vote. She's not in a great spot.
She's not. The only reason I still continue to believe that she's in a good spot as far as making it to the end is just because of the type of edit that she's still getting. Mm-hmm. She's not getting a I'm about to leave edit. She's really not. Oh.
What's better?
Sorry. She's not getting an I'm about to leave edit at all. She's getting a longevity edit is what I call it. But she's not in a good spot though, as far as which also again is to me another good edit for her, because it's like, oh, she's not in a good spot and then she's going to rise above it is how I'm seeing it going. Personally, there are some people that I can't clock. Like for example, Caroline, I don't have any, I can't figure out what kind of edit they're attempting to give to her.
Me neither.
Don't know.
I don't think she's necessarily leaving soon, but for your sake and your draft sake, let's hope Teeny sticks around a minute. Looking here at the graphic.
I know.
I have Kyle Jury.
Oh.
I have Kyle, Sam, and Genevieve left.
Yeah, you're doing the best.
Sammy has Caroline, Rachel, and Genevieve left. Abigail still has Andy, Sue, and Gabe. Abigail, it stands to argue that Abigail got the big personality, the chaos, the risky picks. Ended up how her draft ended up shaking out. Mine ended up being 2 duos. Do you see that?
Yes. And I went into this draft making a couple wild card picks myself because, like, for example, John Lovett, I knew that this was either going to go really well for me or really terribly. So I knew going into it, I was expecting him to be the first boot or make it to the finals. However, Sol is surprising me that he didn't go a little bit further. And whatever his JK or JT, whatever his name was, I already forgot his name. TK. TK really shocked me. I really thought TK was a good pick. Teeny, I'm not surprised at all. I knew Teeny. I felt really strongly about Teeny.
Yeah.
Rome, on the other hand, Rome versus Genevieve, I really did feel like Rome was giving chaotic, but Genevieve was giving chaotic-er, and Genevieve really hasn't been chaotic. So Genevieve's been a solid selection.
Genevieve was the very last by default pick, and a lot of that had to do with like the preseason stuff. We got nothing, just nothing, hardly anything.
There's a way for me to not come in last place at this point, unless Teeny potentially wins the whole thing. But even then, I don't think I can still win.
What a victory! What a story for you.
What a story for me moving forward. Like, I mean, even if Teeny wins the whole thing, I don't think I'll win the draft, but I think I would not be last. But I don't think there's a nut. I mean,
I think you win if she wins.
Oh, I win if she wins?
Mm-hmm.
So if she comes into finale night, would I not be last?
Right.
I don't know how the points
Whoever picks the winner wins.
But like, what if she makes it to finale but she doesn't win? Do I get extra points for that or no?
You get extra pride points.
I don't know how the point system works on this.
You get bragging rights points.
Okay, so it's the same amount of points even if they make it to jury, and even
you want to draft the winner, and you don't want all of your people out first. Whoever loses all of their picks first has to buy their partner above. Whoever drafts the winner gets the trophy.
Oh, I thought there was like a whole point system to this.
We tried that with Big Brother and it did not. It didn't pan.
It was
too much. Yeah. So no, if she wins, you win.
Well, Lucas says that Teeny is holding strong for me, and
I honestly think it's going to come down between me and you. If it's not Teeny, it's Kyle.
I would agree. However, here's the thing, though. I really am feeling like Kyle makes it to finale, but I'm really feeling like he doesn't win at finale. I don't know why. I feel that way. I do think Gabe is going soon, and I do think Andy is going very, very soon.
Yeah, I think Abigail's about to have some rough weeks.
Yes, and then Sue. So Gabe, Andy, and Sue are all in a lot of deep doo-doo.
Yeah.
You are in trouble because of Kyle, because I do think Kyle is a good backup option when all else fails. If there's a week where it's like this person and this person, you know, they have idols or they're immune and we've got to pick somebody, I think Kyle's an easy out because, as you said, he is a comp beast. He's also cool with a lot of people. So that doesn't make him, because he's a comp beast, I think he would be a good backup option. Caroline and Rachel, though. Sammy might be in a good spot with that.
Here's the thing, too. This would be cuckoo bananas, but I would love this for us. If Genevieve wins.
Oh, then how do you... That's what I'm saying. We have to pick up a point system then.
No. If Genevieve wins, then Sammy and I both win. We will both end up getting trophies. But you and Abigail will each have to buy us above.
Oh. I thought we were going into this with points and there was only one winner.
No, we started off talking about like, but what if like our joint picks win? We're like, they're not going to fucking win. Like they're going to be gone. These are our first boots. But now it's a possibility. But I don't mind buying 2 trophies, one for me, one for Sammy. It's going to be fine.
Let's go.
But yeah, how wild. If Genevieve would, oh my God, how wild would that be?
We would have to get her on the pod at that point. She needs to come talk to us.
Yeah. What a story. Well, that is what I've got. I'm really excited. Who do you think is in the most trouble going into next week? And who do you think is in the best spot?
If I have to pick one person, Andy. If we're going to be logical, I think Andy and Gabe both equally might be in just as much trouble. And I think Kyle is a close third along with Sue. I think it's like Andy, Gabe, and then a little bit below them, Sue and Kyle.
Okay. Who do you think is in the best position?
Genevieve might be in the best position.
I think
Genevieve with Caroline being a close second. Honestly, all the girls except for Sue, I think the fingers are all really being pointed at the guys right now. Yeah, I agree there. With the exception of Sue. And that's okay. Somebody commented earlier that a woman is winning this season, and I'm fine with that. So I would love that. So if you guys have any questions, now would be the time to ask. I'm sure one that I've missed, we can end with questions. So, viewer question. Who is getting the GOAT edit? What do you think, Sarah?
That's a good one. Let's pull up the cast again.
As far as GOAT goes, Kyle might, to be honest.
Yeah.
He doesn't win.
I think Kyle's getting, and Genevieve, honestly, I think Genevieve's getting a really, really good edit.
Kyle, just because of his backstory. And I know that they showed us a little bit of his background story and then they laid off for the time being, which makes me feel like they're saving a little bit for later. Like we have time to see more of him. But his backstory combined with the fact that he is such a competition beast.
Oh, for sure.
Makes me feel good about him.
I think Genevieve is getting the mastermind edit.
Sure. But I think Rachel is too, though. That move, amazing. Truly was amazing move.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was the best move that I've seen maybe in the whole new era.
I would agree. Okay. Well, thank you guys for joining us on today's episode of Secret Society of Superfans. We hope you all had fun. I know I did. We are getting back into regularly posting this, so just be looking for these episodes on your commute Monday mornings. If you have any questions or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. You could shoot me an email at sarahtalksbigbrother@gmail.com. Also, we are both on Blue Sky now. We're calling it the good place. We are moving away from the bad place.
Yep.
Everyone, it is beautiful over there. The skies are gorgeous on Blue Sky, so make sure that you find us over there. We are in all the starter packs, which I'm loving that feature, by the way. So with that, stay strategizing and we will catch you next time. And until then, keep your torches lit and your alliance is strong. We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.